So in this video, we're going to share our plans to build our homestead as we continue our fire journey. What are you doing over there?
Nothing. Get rid of this tire.
Finny! Finny, can you smile at me? I'm coming, Gwenny.
Let's do this.
Subscribe to our channel below so that you don't miss out on our new videos that come out on Mondays at 6 p.m.
So we left off telling you that we sold our house in Charleston and we moved to North Carolina. With the inventory so low and with prices so high on existing homes, we decided it was the perfect time to sell and build on a few acres of land that Amber's family has owned for generations. It's actually farmland that Amber's grandfather grew up on.
We're exploring many different builders and are trying to be conscious of our budget, knowing that we're retired and we want to be financially free. The three options that we're looking at right now are Schumacher Homes, America's Home Place, and a custom Barndominium Build with a local general contractor.
The first two builders that we mentioned would be going the more traditional route for building, where it'd be more hands-off for us and we wouldn't be able to do any of the work ourselves. Schumacher Homes is America's largest custom home builder, a National Housing Quality Award winner, building in 32 markets and in 14 states across the country. We have them as an option because the high quality, the floor plans, and the cost fits into our budget. America's Home Place is another custom home builder that's a little smaller. We chose them as well because their price, quality, and floor plans.
So the third option that we have is the more non-traditional route, which is becoming very popular. It is a barndominium, and that in simple terms is a metal building that has inside living quarters. And those are very affordable, they're energy efficient, and they're low maintenance homes according to Metal Building Homes, which is a company that specializes in new construction barndominiums. And we'll kind of refer to these as barndos throughout
That's
the
what
video.
people...
But a lot of people, that's what they
call them.
The new term. So many of these homes feature energy efficient windows, stained concrete floor, engineered concrete slabs, efficient plumbing, and high vaulted ceilings. Think of a plan-designed warehouse with a front porch and an oversized garage door. The same concept is incorporated into a barndo as a low-cost, simple-to-build dwelling, but with an upgraded exterior compared to a warehouse.
There are many different advantages to building barndominiums, like being affordable, the longevity of the building, the construction. It also offers a high level of durability. And if you go with a kit, it takes less time to build, which is nice. It offers a ton of extra space, more than you'd even expect. You're shocked when you walk into these things because they have so much space and they're so open. They also have flexibility in terms of design, since you're basically starting with a rectangle, and because there's no load-bearing walls, you can pretty much do anything you want on the inside.
Right.
Barndominiums have gained popularity ever since Chip and Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper took a barn that horses were living in and converted it into beautiful living space.
So why do we want to build something like this? Some people think we're crazy. Some people are like, oh, you're going to build a barn. Oh, that's
That's all they can see when they hear that.
But like we mentioned before, there's a huge cost savings, and with the land being deeded to us, it just makes sense. It's got simplicity along with it. There's a cost-effective way to use that space. There's an ability, again, to design our own house the way that works for our family. And there's beautiful vaulted ceilings that you'll see in some pictures that we'll share that we envy so much and we would love to see, and the exposed ductwork and the beams. There's metal siding, which again plays into that durability factor, and then there's lower maintenance with that metal siding and the metal roof.
So let's talk about some of the cons for barndominiums. And granted, we know it's not going to be a cakewalk, it's not going to be easy, but we are up for the challenge, at least for now. So with building a barndominium, we'd be using a general contractor, which means that we'd have more involvement than we would in the other options with
Schumacher and America's Home Place.
Yeah, so more involvement than those, but still probably not too bad since we'd have a general contractor. Right. But with this, it would allow us to do parts of the work ourselves, and there are some key areas that we really want to try to save some money, and also that we have a personal interest in doing and some experience in that side of things. There's also limited locations to build this type of structure, which is challenging. Every county and state has different ordinances set up. Some local areas have guidelines about the appearance of the homes, sheds, and barns that can be built.
There's also the potential to have difficulty in the financing realm. As they're not as popular as regular properties, you're a little limited slightly in the type of loan options that you have. And again, we've talked to some people that have built barndominiums, and they have reached out to banks in the Midwest and kind of like Texas area to see if they would give them a mortgage on this type of property. And usually they do because of the popularity out there. So it's definitely something to take into account. There's overwhelming choices, and maybe not necessarily a con or a bad thing, but having unlimited options, just because you're starting with a blank canvas, just can make the planning process a little more challenging than that.
Instead of some of the national builders that they pretty much give you a template and you can make some customizations, but really not too many major changes, which is kind of a blessing in disguise at times.
And the pricing is not guaranteed like it is with Schumacher and America's Home Place. So while we're planning for this build, we're looking to find a cost-effective way to build a house but keep it functional for a family. So that's why we kind of thought or added the barndominium into our idea process. We also want to design an unconventional interior, but again, one that works for our family. And we want to try out some things that we've wanted to see in a house for so long, but we've never been able to because we've built with just a builder like Lennar or Nest Homes here locally. So it just gives us an opportunity to try some different things that would save us some money, but also be really
but also
cool.
also look great.
Yeah, so we were thinking about concrete counters throughout. That's the kitchen and the bathrooms. The first floor, we're thinking it will have the stained concrete floors, so getting away from the laminate or any of the flooring that adds that extra cost. To have open shelving in the kitchen. And then we're thinking about like no custom cabinetry, especially in the bathrooms. We walked into one that they bought the setup from Lowe's, or even taking a piece of furniture and converting it into a vanity.
Yeah, we know that there's a lot of costs involved in custom cabinetry, so we thought, hey, let's try to take a look at that and eliminate as much as we can and replace it with something that works and is functional, but maybe just doesn't cost as much and it's not a custom build.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We have a lot of different ideas on how we're going to do that, but TBD on how on the specifics of that. We also want to keep the roof line simple because we know there's a lot of cost that goes into that, and keeping that simple keeps those costs low. We also want to use barn doors or some alternatives to the regular interior doors because again, those costs are pretty high, and we want to eliminate the use of the glass shower doors in the shower, in like the master bathroom specifically.
Oh, yeah.
We've had that in the last couple of houses, and there's just a tremendous cost for that much glass to have a nice high-end shower with all that glass involved.
But then there's like just the upkeep too. You can't ever keep it clean.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we always had to have a squeegee every time we took a shower in our previous shower with the glass doors, and honestly, it got to be so much of a pain that I would just prefer to use one of the insert showers that we had downstairs. We also want to bring the outside in as much as possible and utilize the outdoor area as part of our living space, and also get a lot of just natural wind flow and ventilation into the house, which is something we've always wanted, but we've kind of come short in the last couple of builds that we did.
So now what's next for us? And again, we're still in the very infant stages of this, and we're still trying to nail down all the steps. But what we've seen so far is that we need to clear the land to make it accessible, and you'll see a video of this, but that land is briar infested.
Yeah, with like 15
saw briars
15 foot thick, dense saw briars that
You've been sliced by them. My dad has, the kids have, I have.
Every member of our family has been injured by these saw briars on this land. So that's going to be challenge number one. It's already been a challenge. Okay, so here's where the lot starts at the road. Thick everything is in the distance. So what I'm trying to do is go through here and trim out all this brush and these pricker bushes so that people can walk back here and do a perk test and find the lot lines and things like that. So I've got a bit of work to do. It's about 1,500 feet from where I just started through all these woods and all these little pine trees and brush. So it's gonna be a bit of a task. So what I've got is this string trimmer with this metal blade on the end, which is doing a really nice job. And then I've also got a machete, and I'm gonna see if I need anything else, maybe like a pole saw or something. So I'll keep you updated, but this is the start. and I've got a lot more to go. All right, I'm starting to make some progress. I'm, I don't know, maybe about a third of the way there. I've been working for a few hours, and I got past everything behind me, and now I'm looking at like a ravine that I wasn't necessarily expecting to see. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at. This is where I just came from. Kind of hard to tell. And then you can see that the ground's starting to slope down.
Setting a budget for items like the permits, the well, the septic, the kit that we would buy, the plumbing, electrical finishes, and potentially a general contractor. Deciding who we're going to build with, and deciding on the size and the plan of the house, which we found out is needed to secure that perk test, and then ultimately getting a perk test on the land to see if we can build on that piece of property and if it'll support the house that we choose.
And the septic system required for the size
Mm-hmm.
of the house. And so assuming all of that goes as planned, the next steps are to transfer the deed to our name so that the land is in our name and out of Amber's parents' name.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding a bank to secure the mortgage. And like we talked about, we'll probably virtually go to banks in the Midwest,
Right.
or maybe in
or
Texas.
a smaller bank.
Since they're more familiar with what a barndominium is and what
Mm-hmm.
it isn't.
Right.
Because I think around here,
A lot of times I think that it's just a barn and it's like pieces of wood and there's no foundation to support it, and it's just going to fall off this foundation eventually, which isn't the case. But
So once we get that set, we will secure the permits needed to start building. We'll make sure we understand all the steps in the process, which we're still trying to figure all that out. We need to build a driveway, a pretty long driveway.
Yeah.
How long is that?
like a quarter acre.
Yeah.
I mean, not a quarter acre.
A
quarter of a mile.
Quarter mile driveway. So that's going to be a lot of work. And there's a lot of these
Stumps
briars,
and
stumps, limbs, all kinds of stuff that we've
trees.
got to get cleared out, which I think I may try to do some of that
You'll see.
myself.
We'll see
And
on the next video what we'll have.
I may just start getting behind a bulldozer or a mulcher. So
We'll see.
yeah, we'll share that with you guys. So we need to get the driveway cleared, graded, and need to get the lot ready to build on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the fun part of seeing the building erected and starting that build process, which is going to be awesome to see that actually start to get built.
Yeah. So just looking at this land and looking at the idea and kind of dreaming what this could be, we're so excited about the idea of building a home that meets our exact specifications, where in the last few builds and the last houses, it's just they've fallen short every now and then. They've been beautiful, but there's been something missing.
They always seem to give us some extras that we pay for that we really didn't want in the first place. So it'll be nice to just cut out some of that stuff, that extra fluff and cost, and make sure we spend the money where we want to.
Right. We've always lived in a neighborhood or built with a builder like Lennar. And one thing that we always come away with after selling it is that we want space. And all I can envision is Ron from Parks and Rec spinning in his desk.
Excuse me. There's a sign at Ramsett Park that says do not drink the sprinkler water, so I made sun tea with it and now I have an infection. Sir? Sir, are you listening to me, sir? Sir, I'm talking to you. Sir, are you aware that there is waste in your water system?
And then all of a sudden he goes out and Leslie gives him the job in the woods and he's like, I'm free. I'm by myself. And he has no one around him.
Okay. Time to go to work.
So sometimes that's how I feel like, we want that space, and that space to create our own environment, our own.
Yeah, that's very
Nice.
very Ron Swanson of us to think that way. And if you've watched Parks and Rec, you'll know what we're talking about. We can also see this becoming more than just a home site for us. We see it being an adventure park for our kids, something that we can use all different areas of the land for our benefit. To make it a homestead where we can set up a garden and who knows, maybe even chickens, goats, horses. We have we're very creative.
A pink horse, according to Michaela. That's what she would want.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that we use all this land that's accessible to us, not just have it be the home site, but expand beyond that and use every inch of the space that we have.
And really make it, really do it justice for my family, because my mom's seen it become what it is. And then, my grandmother saw it become what it is, and my grandfather worked it and he lived on it. So like really doing it justice and paying that tribute to that land.
Yeah, and we also want it to be a home base, so somewhere that we can live and have, as little cost as we can to live on this land and develop this home site or this homestead, and use it as a branching off point for us to take vacations and trips and do all the things that we want to do at this point in our early retirement fire journey.
It seems like a daunting task, but we know it will be worth it in the end. This is going to be a learning process for us, but if there's one thing that I know for sure, if you put this man, my husband, on a project, he's going to see it through, no matter what it is.
Well, thank you.
He's shown me that through many different things, and he's helped me become that type of person too. So together, I have no doubt that this adventure will be one of our best yet. And there's a quote that you'll see from Michael Phelps: there will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with the hard work, there are no limits. And I truly believe that about Jared and about our family. So as we work through this process, we're going to be sharing updates through many different videos. We'll share what we're doing, how it kind of works into our fire journey, and all the ups and downs and obstacles that we come across.
Crazy ideas that we come up with, inspirations that we find along the way,
Yeah.
and honestly from a lot of other people on Instagram and YouTube that are doing similar things with barndominiums.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting and
Yeah.
surprising. It's something that people just don't expect.
So in order for you to follow us, please do these 3 things right now. So make sure to give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel below.
Also check out our latest video where we just sold our house in Charleston and made over $400,000 in profit in 6 months. Also watch our Fire Journey playlist to see how you can use money as a tool to empower you and to set you free.
See you later.